Pour the video. For me, I guess Pinot Noir is about texture. You know, that's what Pinot Noir has. You know, it's really its ace in the hand. Is sublime texture. And for me, you know, I'm really always looking for texture. You know, almost over fruit. You know, great Pinot Noir. You know, the Burgundians have this little saying that's like, you know, sweet baby Jesus slipping down your throat in velvet pantaloons. And it's kind of like, you know, great Burgundy has just this lovely, subtle, velvety texture. But also, obviously, from great sites, has great personality as well. And I think, you know, all the tasting we've seen today, we've got some, you know, we've got a lovely range of Pinot Noirs. The great ones, though, what they show is they show beautiful texture, finesse, elegance, balance. I mean, some of the wines have a lot of structure, but that's also got flushness of fruit behind it. You know, it all comes together nicely. I've been asked to talk about the wines from basically from southeastern Australia, essentially. And so we've got Geelong, Tasmania, Yarra Valley, and Macedon. And I mean, 2008 vintage. You know, Adelaide had 15 days over 35 degrees in a row. We all know what that does to grapes, especially in the wild. And I think especially in that first bracket, I mean the colour I thought was, I guess, a bit disappointing on the wines. In terms of, you know, a lot of them have kind of a tawniness to them. And that's really just a function of that vintage. I had a chat to Phil Morahan on the phone this morning, who is a fairly flat winemaker. And he kind of argued that, you know, in his area, the Macedon, he still got cool nights and that kind of, you know, he got that cooling, he didn't have that kind of, you know, as much cooked fruit. But for me, I still think knowing the really flat wines well, I still think, you know, he took away some of the finesse. Great Pinot Noir it's got finesse, but it's also got lovely perfume to it. And I think the 08 vintage has really sapped a lot of that perfume out of some of these wines. The wines I was looking at, so A3 was the Provenance, Geelong Pinot Noir. Look, you know, I thought this one actually had some nice kind of colour to it, and it had some earthiness. It wasn't just you know, a traditional kind of fruity style. It had some nice earthy kind of secondary complexity. It was a Australian style, you know, an elegant style, but I guess my problem with it was, you know, it lacked a bit of perfume, it lacked lift, and there was certainly some kind of slightly dry red elements. It had the weight of the wine, you know, I wasn't sure as a Cabernet, but also I mean, it's a very nice wine, but, you know, perfume and that, what makes Pinot stand out is really perfume. I think this wine, unfortunately, lacked a bit of that perfume. So I think probably my favourite out of all four of those A6 was the Freycinet from Tassie. I mean, Freycinet, you know, goes a bit up and down with vintage, but I think that was actually my favourite wine in that whole class. I think that Freycinet was a really, you know, it definitely showed new little characters. There's obviously some, you know, kind of dewy, kind of, you know, fruit to it, but also there was some lovely savouriness to it. You know, great Pinot Noir is not just about juicy, dewy fruit. There's savouriness, there's earthiness. It showed that it had the flushness of the New World, but there was also behind that was some lovely savouriness, and actually the structure I think was awesome on that wine. Right, you know, often New World Pinots, you know, there's this flushness on the front of the palate, but the back palate, you know, you lack, I mean, it's great talk about stringency, and I agree, that needs to have a bit of backbone. This wine really has significant backbone to it, and will really kick on. I think that's beautiful and young and vibrant, and has, you know, a great opportunity to actually kick on for a long time. The next wine was B5, which was from Steve at Giant Steps. Now this wine, I mean, I guess the colour was a bit of a problem, I reckon. I mean, it's really a bit tawny on the edge of the 2008 Pinot Noir, that's a bit difficult. I mean, the Yarra Valley, obviously, you know, Russian Cabernet pretty regularly, means that it's warm anyway, the Pinot Noir, and in the vintage, I think they've done a good job with the vintage. It's savoury, there's some nice restraint to the fruit, there's nice elegance to the fruit, but there's still some jamminess, there's still some really ripe characters there, but still there's subtlety there. I think they've done a really good job with, you know, with the making heat that they got. And then the last one, C1 is Curly Flat. I'm unashamedly a massive Curly Flat fan, and I think Philip is one of the most thoughtful, a very thoughtful winemaker. We have many thoughtful winemakers, some of them in the room, but he's a very thoughtful winemaker, and Macedon being the coolest region essentially on the mainland, although Brian Cozen thinks he's taken out the science told us. But, you know, I think this wine, it still smells of like still fermenting kind of Pinot juice. which I think really shows its, I guess, age-worthiness. It's still got that, you know, that really ripe, kind of juicy kind of fruit, but underneath there's significant structure. It doesn't quite have the perfume that are very great mentions of old curly such as 06, but it's still a lovely wine and has got this silky texture, but also some stringency to back.